Hey, this is Edward Abrosi. Wanted to record a new video about deal flow for M&A buyers, and I want to talk today about the basics of on-market deal flow, off-market deal flow, and what people could do to position themselves properly in the system. So you can probably see my screen. You can see some of the insights about it, but what we're going to do today is just going to follow some of these particular models and what you could do as a buyer to find more deals. So let's go through on-market. So if you're in the US and you're in Canada or you're in any of these markets, typically you're going to use a listing site, which is typically going to be bizbuysell.com or LoopNet. Uh, they are both integrated with each other, meaning whatever you see on BizBuySell is typically also associated with a deal on LoopNet. And those markets, those listing sites are controlled mainly by brokers, meaning a lot of these brokers have company profiles, have personal profiles, and then they just post some of the listings they got of sellers. So your job as a buyer is to be able to create a filter for yourself based on your investment criteria to find a lot of these deals. Now, once you do that, the most important thing is for you to create an alert in a lot of these websites because the only way you're going to be able to stay on top of mind with a lot of these news and updates and deals that appear is by you having that alert set up in that website. So what you would do is you'd create an account in each of these websites. You would know whatever deals you're going to focus on as far as cash flow amount and sector amount. And then what you're going to do basically next is you're going to set up those alerts for all your accounts into your email so that way you can keep receiving these particular listings. Now, over time, what you're also going to do is you're going to build relationships with particular brokers. And because you're building relationships with particular brokers, they'll just send you deals and things that are available. So that's also a plus. So you want to know what brokers are doing what in what locations and what industries, so that way you're keeping in touch with some of these individuals. Now, to be able to build a good relationship with these brokers, you need to know what you're doing as far as talking to them, how you're going to apply to them, how you're going to answer some of your questions, how you're going to provide them confidence that you're the right buyer. The second is there's more specialized listing sites. Like, for example, there's lower middle market companies or funds that invest in deals and M&A deals, and they use Axial. So it's a more specialized listing site that has maybe bigger deals and different kinds of opportunities related to on-market deals. Maybe not for first-time buyers, but essentially it's a more specialized listing site for more qualified buyers. Sometimes there's also different groups or communities that you can get into in different accelerators that could allow you to see more on-market deals as well, such as Search Funder, Acquisitions.com, Acquire, and some other companies that essentially might have their own public deals available as well. So those are communities or accelerators or companies that will provide you with additional deal flow. So it's up to you to consider some of that as well. Realistically, when you're a first time buyer, I would just minimize having one channel as far as on market. I would just focus on that as much as possible. And then I would upload a lot of these deals into a particular spreadsheet so that I can track some of my deal flow. But previous videos on my channel, you'll be able to see how I build a different spreadsheet and essentially how you could have your own spreadsheet as far as deal flow and how you can manage your deal flow. So it might be worth you checking that other video on my YouTube channel. Related to off-market deal flow, um, the best way here is to be able to reach out to businesses directly. And that requires a lot of effort, a lot of understanding, a lot of nuances related to how you're going to set up that infrastructure, how you're going to reach out to them, how you're going to get replies from them, how you're going to follow up with them. So that's typically done at scale for email. And then the follow-up is typically done through LinkedIn, letters as well, cold calls, and then eventually after they've showed interest and after you had a few calls with them, you could do a walk-in and actually go in and meet them. The second very interesting channel that a lot of people don't really deploy in the spaces because they're still kind of stuck in the corporate world and they want to transition out. They can't really do a lot of content. But if you're a buyer that is not employed anywhere and you're doing this full time, you could consider creating very particular content over the next 6, 12, 18 months so that you can build a list of potential people that are going to follow you that will become off-market deals for you. Most baby boomers that are looking to retire spend more time on LinkedIn and on Facebook specifically. So that means you could either create some sort of Facebook community and invite business owners from other communities into that network and just educate them about how to sell their company to you specifically. So you could do that, or you could just build a LinkedIn group and you can do the same thing, or you could just post content on your profile on LinkedIn to build out that following. A good strategy nowadays on social media is to also use paid advertising in these platforms because organic just has a limit as far as how many people you're going to reach out to initially. So it's only based on the actual how useful the content is to some of these individuals that then the algorithm is going to start promoting some of these videos you're posting to some of these individuals. So it's very difficult to get traction, but keep in mind that you're still using a lot of these channels for free, so you're not necessarily paying for them as far as organic content. If you want to accelerate the pace with a lot of this content, I would consider using paid advertising. I'd probably start with spending $1,000 to a couple $1,000 a month to just promote yourself and build the brand out of yourself to a lot of these people. Now, a more organic way of just getting in front of very particular people that might have access to deals is affiliates with accountants, lawyers, consultants, associations, and lenders. So let's say there's an accountant, a CPA, or an M&A accountant in a region. What's interesting is they have different clients that might potentially consider to sell, and they will hear about these things from these clients or these sellers, and that way they could just connect you to some of these individuals. So if you have a lot of in-house partnerships with a lot of accountants and lawyers and consultants and lenders, and you say, hey, look, if you can pass me this person, I would just pay you a referral fee of like 1% of the whole transaction value. Well, they could just earn more business by referring more deals to you. And you might be a more specialized buyer for a specialized industry, and that way they'll just only send deals to you specifically. So that's a very good way. So you build a campaign and you target these individuals and you get on calls with them, you discuss about a partnership with them, and then you discuss how you to pay them a referral fee, and that way they can just send you more deals. Um, so that's really what you're going to be doing as far as off market. There's more creative things you could do as well with off market. You could go to events. That way you can meet business owners in a particular market and you can go face to face and do that. I just still prefer to do a lot of this stuff. The whole process as far as starting the outbound process, I would just do it uh, with email, LinkedIn, and then I would just follow up on other channels in real life with either calls or walk-ins. But it's up to you on how fast you want to get results. So what I would do as a buyer is I would choose one on-market channel and one big, more broader off-market channel, and I would just go all in into them to generate interest, calls, and then eventually go and meet some of these individuals. The best way to close deals is to actually go and meet some of these people in real life after you've had a few conversations with them, and if they're fairly close to your location, I would just do that. Um, so that's it for this video. Let me know if you want me to record more of these videos. But as far as how to do a lot of these things in details, I generally think that a lot of these things need to be custom to whatever you're doing. So if you want more help, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm going to post my LinkedIn profile in the video below. You can go and connect to me and say, hey, I need more help with deal flow. That way we can get connected. I can help you understand what to do next. But that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching.